So, first of all, I already know that there's this weird strobing effect on the screen. It's too late at night for me to care about that. So, Donald Trump is going to return to the White House in a week after a 4-year break, and what I expect is that he will spend the early part of his presidency trying to get his tax bill revived because it's going to expire this year, and I do not imagine really anyone wants the status quo. Some want to extend the tax cuts, some want to repeal them, but I don't think there's really anybody in Washington that wants the status quo. In respect with certain things he wants to do with reconciliation to avoid a Senate filibuster, I think that certain things he'll succeed on, and I think some he won't need the reconciliation process, like the Lake and Riley Act, I think will clear a Senate. Well, it already did clear a Senate filibuster. I'm a little sleep deprived. That I'm not surprised. I think they're going to wait till he gets in office before he signs it. I don't think Joe Biden will sign it. With respect to the Judges Act, I think he'll sign that into law. I think Congress will pass it again, and I think he'll sign it into law. With respect to some of his other stated goals, I don't think they will have a shot, like getting Greenland, getting Canada, or getting back the Panama Canal, or changing it to the Gulf of Mexico's name to Gulf of America. Won't happen. Frankly, that is a ridiculous idea. That does not lower grocery prices. That does not combat the cost of living crisis. That does not do anything to make anyone's lives better. And as far as I'm concerned, it's absurd that is even something he would be willing to entertain. I understand if one is joking, that's one thing, but, that's kind of why people were willing to vote him out last time, is he didn't focus on what actually mattered, like putting more money into people's pockets, making groceries cheaper, stuff like that, where the average person who's not an ideologue like me would be able to say, I would support a candidate who runs on that kind of thing. And frankly, I think that he should be more worried this time in his second term about his legacy, because yes, certain things can be overturned, but if he's on his best behavior, I'm convinced that the Republicans would have a healthy shot at 2028. Barring any massive unforeseen mess-ups, I think that if he would just focus on what he got elected on and not have such a wafer-thin ego, I think then if he would just do that, I think he'd be fine. But I don't think that after 78 years of being this way, I don't think he's going to change. I think he's going to get run around by the Democrats. I think he's going to let his ego destroy any coalitions that he's going to need to get anything done. And given that the Republicans in the Senate will not get rid of the filibuster, certain things he wants to do are not going to get around a 60 vote threshold. And frankly, I think it is counterproductive and ultimately wrong, yet it's self-defeating, for him to be this way. And before any of you MAGA people are saying that I'm being like Orange Man bad and mean tweets, it's called he has no discipline. You guys voted for him. You guys want him to get things done. I mean, if you vote for someone, I'm assuming you want them to get things done if they get elected. And this man sabotaged his own presidency the first time, and he'll probably the second time. Now, if he's disciplined, he stays on message, and he puts in the effort this time, then he'll be fine. I mean, this whole cabinet fiasco was a joke. Pete Hegseth is not qualified to be Secretary of Defense. There's nothing about RFK Jr. that's qualifying for Health and Human Services. I do not believe that any of the things he wants to do that I don't think he has the power to do so. With respect to Matt Gaetz, not qualified for Attorney General. Pam Bondi, sure, she's qualified. Even if, although it really would depend on her actual views and beliefs to say if she should or should not be Attorney General of the United States. Now, I think that since Trump won the popular vote, just like Biden did in 2020 and Obama twice and George W. Bush once and Bill Clinton twice, I'd say that the proper approach of the Democrats should be not like mindless opposition, but scrutinize the cabinet picks. That's what the Republicans did with Biden. They scrutinized his cabinet. That's natural. That's reasonable. They should. It's like a wait and see. The devil is in the details. If what he's proposing is good, screw what the far left says. If it's good, then vote for it. If it's bad, then vote against it. Given the fact that he is term limited in 2028, I really don't think anyone should care what he has to say with endorsements for various elections. He's a lame duck on day one. So as far as I'm concerned, I think Congress will run him around, and they're not going to fear him this time is because he can't run again. If he could run again, then they probably would be worried. And for the record, I think we should amend the 22nd Amendment to allow it to be non-consecutive terms, to say that if you are elected twice, you got to sit out 4 years, and then you can come back. I think that would honestly be a pretty reasonable thing, because Clinton probably would have gotten a third term. Obama, sure, but I don't think he would have wanted one. W could not have gotten one. Carter is dead, so he couldn't get a second term anyway, so Biden is in no shape to run. Beyond that, I don't think there's really any other president who would have been in good enough shape and would be wanting to get a third term. So I think like how the Brazilians and the French have it is honestly a pretty good thing. So yeah, I fully expect he'll get some important things done, but I think he's going to stumble, and I think he's going to fail in certain areas, and I'm not saying he should fail, but I'm saying I think it's highly likely that he will fail. Anyway, that'll be all for now, and I'll see you guys, at some point before the inauguration.